missions. Although we will have automatic or the autonomous docking in normal case, but in a normal case, we can perform the manual docking. So before that, the astronaut must be trained first.
All right, Professor Yang, we will speak to you again very shortly. The 3 taikonauts of Shenzhou-13 are speaking to the media now. Let's listen in.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good afternoon. According to the decision made by the Space Station Phase Mission Command Headquarters, the crew for Shenzhou-13, they are astronauts Zhai Zhigang, astronaut Wang Yaping, and astronaut Ye Guangfu. And now I would like to invite Director Gao Feng from the China Aerospace Astronauts Training Center to give you the brief introduction about our 3 astronauts. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good afternoon. Now, I will brief you on the crew members of the Shenzhou-13 manned space mission. Mr. Zhai Zhigang, male Han nationality, originated from Heilongjiang province, a member of the CBC and a master degree holder. Born in October 1966, he joined the PLA in June 1985, joined the CBC in September 1991. And he also selected as the first batch of astronauts in China in January 1998, and right now is a first class, the premium level astronauts, a major general, and he also did a backup for the Shenzhou 5 in September 2003 and June 2005, selected as a backup for Shenzhou 6, and September 2008 flew on Shenzhou 7, served as commander, and also the same year in November he was nominated and also granted the honorary title of Hero Astronaut by the CBC Central Committee State Council and the CMC, and received a medal, and in January 2013 selected as the backup astronauts of the Shenzhou-10 mission, and in December 2019 he was selected as the Shenzhou-13 flight mission crew as the commander. Comrades and astronauts Wang Yaping, female, Han nationality, born in Shandong Province, CBC member, master degree holder, born in January 1980. Joined the Army in August 1997 and joined the party in May 2000, and is the second batch selected in May. And also right now is the first class of the PLA Astronauts Corps and the rank of a senior colonel, and she also selected as a backup for the Shenzhou 9 mission in March 2012, and in June 2013 carried out the Shenzhou 10 mission, and also the same year she awarded the honorary title of a Hero Astronaut, and also received the Aerospace Medal, and also in December 2019 she was selected as the crew for Shenzhou-13 flight mission. Astronauts Ye Guangfu, male, Han nationality, born in Chengdu, Sichuan Province, member of the CBC, master degree holder, born in September 1980, joined the Army in August 1998, and joined the party in May 2002, and selected as the second batch of the astronauts in China. And right now is a second class astronauts of the PLA Astro Corps, holding the rank of a senior colonel, and also the selected for the Shenzhou-13 flight mission in December 2019. And based on the principle of the scientific, reasonable, fair, just manner, these 3 astronauts have been comprehensively evaluated and all achieved excellent performance, and they finally determined as the prime crew for mission Shenzhou-13. Now the floor is open. Thank you. With CMG, CCTV. First of all, congratulations to all three astronauts for your upcoming mission. And my question to Commander Zhai Zhigang. I was out conducting the EVA and feeling so good. And this is really the catching phrase you made in your last mission. And also, actually, people remember even till now, you waved a red flag. So I would like to ask this time, you still can perform the spacewalk, and for how many times? Any feelings you would like to share with us?
Dear friends from media, good afternoon. My name is Zhai Zhigang. It's a great pleasure to meet all of you once again. 13 years ago, in 2008, the successful completion of the Shenzhou-13 mission marks that China became the third country to have mastered the key technologies of extravehicular activities. And I was quite proud of this. In particular, I waved the 5-star flag and walked in the outer space. And to this day, it was still a vivid memory. After 13 years, I'm going to set out for the outer space again. I feel excited. I feel inspired. I also feel some pressure. In this mission, we are going to conduct another extravehicular activity. And it's more than one extravehicular activity. And during the Shenzhou-13 mission, the EVA was a technical breakthrough. And nowadays, extravehicular activities are more focused on the application of different techniques. So it's quite different from 13 years ago, and it's more sophisticated, it's more challenging, and it's also more difficult. In this mission, in addition to extravehicular activities, we also have manual control and manual control of rendezvous. We also have scientific experiments in all the different scientific fields. Our crew will also celebrate the traditional Chinese New Year in space. But the most challenging part of this mission is that we have to stay in orbit for 6 months. And this is a great challenge for us physically as well as mentally. But please rest assured, we will bear in mind the mission that we have on our shoulders, and we will never let down our country and our people. We have the confidence and resolve to complete this mission successfully. Thank you very much. Next question, please.
请第二排这位小学生提问。
亚平老师你好。
Good afternoon, Yaping.
我来自新疆和田地区
I'm
宜
from
山县80
Wentiange
条岛
of
小学，
Xinjiang Autonomous Region. I'm
中
from
西
a
部小
primary
朋
school.
友与您对话，
It's a great
特
pleasure
别激动。
that I
我
can
们中
ask
西部
a
小
question
朋
on
友
behalf
给
of
您
all
和
the
乘组准备了一
children
份神秘礼物，
in China's
已经
West.
送达空
We
间
have
站，
prepared
希望您能喜欢。
a mysterious
我和
gift,
同学
and
们
we
都
have
看过
already
你
sent
的
it
太
to
空
the
上
outer
课
space,
时，
and I hope that you
对
can
太
like it.
空充满了
We
向
have
往。
all
这
watched
次
your
你
lecture
还
from
会再
the
在
outer
太空
space,
给
and
我
will
们
you
讲课
conduct
吗？
another lecture
还想对我
in
们
a
青
space?
少年说点什么呢？
What else do you want to
谢谢亚
say
平老
to
师。
the youngsters in
谢谢
China?
这位可爱的小朋
Thank
友
you very much.
我很期
A
待
lovely
你们的礼
kids.
物。
I'm also looking
也谢谢
forward
你
to
能到现
receiving
场
your
来给我们
surprise
助力
gift,
发射。
and also would like to see
其
you
实
here to
从
give
神
us
舟
the
10号太空
courage
授课之
for the
后，
upcoming launch.
有很多
So
同
after
学
my
也给我写
first
信问到这个
lecturer
问
in
题。
space, And actually, I received letters from the elementary school students to say when is my second lecture. I'm very glad to let you know that after 8 years of arduous efforts, your teacher Yaping right now pursued the dream, and very soon our dream will come true because I will fly to the outer space tomorrow. And this time, we will be in the China-built space station. And please let me know that what would you like to know, and I will also help you explore the mystery world. Before my mission, I would like to say, a dream never weightless, and there is a explore vast space waiting for you. You have the brain and the courage, and also use your efforts to build your own spaceship, and you will for sure make your dream come true, and also you will take and on board your spacecraft and also to your destination, outer space.
Well, let me tell the audience here again that just now the questioner, the little girl, is one of the representatives of all the students who have walked in the space program in China. Next question, please. I'm with Hong Kong Da Gong News. My question is to Ye Guangfu. As one of the crew members of this mission, you know you're going to stay in the orbit for 6 months. And what is your source of confidence for this mission? Thank you for your question. Good afternoon. My name is Ye Guangfu. I'm an astronaut. It's a great pleasure to be a member of this crewed mission. This is my first mission, and I will be flying for 6 months, and I feel very proud. For me personally, this is a great challenge, but I have every confidence to complete this mission successfully. The confidence comes from generations of astronauts and their efforts. It comes from the teamwork of all the astronauts. It also comes from my 11 years of hard work. I'm looking forward to this mission. I hope that I can have the opportunity to enjoy the beauty of the outer space from a new angle, so that I can have a bird view of planet Earth. I also want to have a bird view of the great land of China. Thank you very much. Next question, please.
第二排那名女记者提问。
谢谢主持人。人民日报记者。
With People's Daily, I question to the astronauts and directly to astronauts Zhai Zhigang, and you are the first batch of the astronauts selected in China, and also the candidate for the very first the manned space on the 15th of October. So that's the from the mission Shenzhou-13 and to right now you're waiting for a really long time, and tomorrow actually coincides still the day of October 15th. So to conduct the 2 missions, would you please share with us your feelings? Is the same feeling or is quite different? Thank you for your question. Shenzhou-7 mission, I prepared for 10 years. And right now it has been another 13 years after my last mission. You can say it's quite a long time. You're saying that I'm waiting for quite a long time. I would like to say that I prepared for this time duration. So what is my courage? What reason drives me to where I am at today? That's my passion, my love. And also, that's the dream to this industry, to China's space mission. So after 13 years, I still can deliver the mission. That's because I could hide it and also ground myself on reality, do my own farewell, and do my training in a thorough manner. Over the past 13 years, the most difficult part for me is not like the very tough training. And it's not the hard jobs. It's not the lessons. The challenging part for me is how to make the easy things done in the most stringent manner, and also you need to repeat it in hundreds or even tens of thousands of times, but all in the same high quality. For my two missions, the different part is the time and content of the mission, but what is the same is my aspiration and also my firm love to the country's mission and the program. Thank you.
下面继续提问。
Next question, please.
第三排，那名女记者提问。
亚平你好，我是新华社的记者。
Good afternoon,
您
Yaping.
将作
I'm
为
with
首位进
Xinhua
驻
News
中国
Agency,
空间
and
站
you
的
will
女
become
性。
the
现
first
在您
female
心里要想
astronaut
些什么？有哪些
to
特别的
enter
感触
China's
吗？
space
同时呢，这
station.
次您和乘组将要
How do you
在
feel right now?
空间站度过春节。
And also, you are going
除
to
夕夜的时
celebrate
候有什么样
the
的打算
traditional
和安
Chinese
排吗？
New
谢
Year
谢。
with your colleagues. And do you have any
谢谢
special
您的提
plans?
问。
Thank you for your question.
从神舟飞船到空间实验室，
From
再到我们即将
Shenzhou
进
space
驻的空间站，
flights,
无论是居住的
craft
空
to
间、
the
飞
space
行的
line
时
to the
间，
space
还是
station,
技术设备等
talk
等，
about in
都
terms
是不
of
可同日而
space
语的。
technology or the
作为
whole
一名航
facilities,
天员，
actually it's
能
all
够有
different.
幸参与空
As
间
a
站的建造
technonaut,
任务，
I'm very
真的
honored
是
to
由
be
衷的
part
为我
of
们伟
the
大的祖
construction
国，
of
为能
China's
身处这样一个
space
伟大
station.
的时
I'm
代
very
而
proud
感到
of
骄傲
my
和自
country
豪。
and also this
说到
great
春节呢
time.
要谢谢您的提
Talking
醒。
about
前
the
一段时间
upcoming
一直在
Chinese
飞
New
飞行
Year,
任务，还真没有考虑这个问题
I。haven't think about
那
this
这一次呢，
because
是
I'm
我们中国
quite
人第一
busy
次在太
preparing
空
the
中过
mission,
春
and this
节。
is the first time
据我
for
了解，
technonauts to
我们的工
celebrate
程总
Chinese
体
New
给
Year
我们
in the
准备了
space.
春节大礼包，
According to my
但里面
understanding,
有
we
什
have a
么
big
我没有
package
知
of
道。
gifts
所
prepared
以
by
我
my
们和大家
colleagues.
一
We
样，
don't know
也是
what
满怀
exactly
期待。
inside. A lot of
我相
surprise
信
waiting
一
for
定是
us.
惊喜不断，
For
精彩
sure,
纷
a
呈。
lot of expectations
那除夕
and
夜的时
also a
候
lot of
呢，我
believe
们
that's
乘组
really
3个
good
人
gifts
也会
waiting
和
for
大家一
us.
起来守
And
岁。
also, we
我
will
们要在
celebrate
第一时
together
间把来自太空的祝福
on the eve
送
of
给
the
我们的
Chinese
祖
New
国
Year, and also
给
give
大家。
our best
谢谢。
wishes to you all from the space.
下面继续提问，
Next question, please.
请第10排那名男记者啊提问。
谢谢主持人。中国日报记者提问，我这个
It's
问题想
China
提给
Daily.
王
My
副
question to
2016年呢，
astronauts
您参加了
Guangfu.
欧洲的洞穴
In
训练。
2016,
当时包括
you
中国日报在内的
participated
很多媒体
in
对此事
the
进行报道。
ASIS
那么参
K
加这样的国际交流活动
training,
呢，您的
and
收
also
获
we
和
cover
体
that.
会是什么？
And
另外，能不
what's
能讲一讲您对后续航天员的国际交流有
your
什么期待？
achievements in this training, and also what's your
好的，谢
expectations?
谢。
Thank you very
首
much.
先，我非常有幸能够作为中
I
国
was
航天员的代
very
表
lucky
参加欧
to
空
be
局
a
2016年的
representative
国际航
of
天员动员
Chinese
训练。
astronauts to attend the
当
ESA
时我
training
们来自5个国家
organized
的
by
6名
EASA
航天员
in 2006. At that time, we had
相互学习，
altogether
并且
5
配合。
astronauts, and we
最
were
终和
staying
训练
in
团队一起
underground
克
caves.
服了
And
冲
we
突，
learned from each other,
并顺利完成了
and
各
we
项任务。
overcome all the difficulties and
这次
accomplished
难忘的国际
our
合作
task.
也让
And
我
that
深
was
刻感
a
受到
tremendous case of
探索
international
浩瀚太
collaboration.
空建设太空家
It
园
made me
是我
know
们所有
that
航天员
it
共
is
同
the
的使命
responsibility
和
of
追求。
all the astronauts to
我
explore
也
the
期待
outer
有一
space.
天能
I
够
also
有国
hope
际同行
that one
一
day
起遨游太空。
I could have
也欢迎
colleagues
来到中
from
国的空间站做客。
other countries
谢谢。
to jointly start the mission.
时间关系，咱们最后一个问
Due
题。
to the interest of time, one last question,
请那名
please.
男记者提问。
中央广播电视总台 CGTN 的记者
With
翟志刚你好
CGTN,
神舟13号任务
my
持续
question
时间
to
长
astronauts
任
Zhai
务重
Zhigang
挑战
is
不
the
过
longest
您作为
mission so
这次
far
任务
and
的
with a
指令
lot of
长同时也
challenges
是这个
as the
成员
commander
的
of the
大哥
mission and
此
also
次
the
你有什么
elderly brother
想跟
of
身
the
旁的
crew.
两位队友
What
说
would
的
you like to
您
say
对我们
to
的
the
太空
two
家园
youngers
有期待
and any expectations to our home at the outer space? Thank you for your question.
至今为止，
Till now, China's manned space program has experienced 7 times of a manned space mission. We can tell each and every time make something new, breaking the new ground, making a big stride forward. And also at the same time, a lot of challenges embedded in each and every mission. The most challenging part for this time, I would like to say, half of year station stay in the space, so which means that we need to stay in a weightless environment in 6 months. So big challenge to our physical and mental situation. We'll for sure encounter some challenges in terms of physical, mental health, and also the technical issues. So the success of the mission depends on we three. We should have the unshaking resolve and fighting spirit. With nearly 2 years of training together, we quite know each other and have very good chemicals going on and had a very smooth cooperation. So based on teamwork, we will for sure to solve each and every difficulties in front of us. And you also ask about China's space station. This is our homeland in the outer space. With the concerted efforts of all the people and colleagues, I believe the China space station will be a best one. Thank you.
由于时间关系，我们的航天员乘组
And due to the interest of time, and our astronauts also need to prepare for tomorrow's launch mission, and this is the end of the press conference. And wish the launch mission a great success, and waiting for them to coming back in a safe manner. Thank you all.
If you were just tuning in, we were listening to the introduction of the 3 astronauts of Shenzhou-13 mission. They are Zhai Zhigang, Wang Yaping, and Ye Guangfu. Now, they will take off on Shenzhou-13 in the early hours of Saturday, October 16. Zhigang shared his past experiences with reporters and his expectations and challenges for the upcoming mission. It's Ye Guangfu's first flight mission, and Yaping is the first female astronaut to visit Tianhe. Now, the launch is part of China's efforts to build its own space station by the end of 2022. It will be China's second crewed flight to its space station. Now, let's speak to Professor Yang again from the China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation. Professor Yang, a great crew with impressive credentials. Even a primary schoolgirl from Xinjiang was talking to Yaping about her lectures on space. Now, tell us more about this crew. How special is it?
Well, there are also very useful information today. We noticed that Mr. Zhai Zhigang also the backup crew of the Shenzhou-5 and the Shenzhou-6 mission, and also the Shenzhou-12 mission. Ms. Wang Yaping is also the backup crew of Shenzhou-9 mission and Shenzhou-12 mission. So this improves that they are very excellent during all these astronauts. So you may notice that because you know that for every mission, as Mr. Zhai Zhigang has mentioned, every time we have new challenges, every time we have new tasks. So they must be well trained on the ground, and there are so many colleagues of them. So they do have a competition. So they can be a backup crew of the other missions, prove that they are really, really excellent. So this time, I believe that this crew, although as Mr. Zhai Zhigang had mentioned, there are still many challenges. So I believe that they can accomplish their task very perfectly. So this time, I think that as we have already discussed, there are 2 veterans. Mr. Zhai Zhigang is well experienced during the EVA. Although this time, as he mentioned, he also thinks that the EVA is a great challenge for him because it is more complex. but because with his experience, I believe that it is also very helpful for him. And you know that according to the conference news release before, we can see the videos of the training of Yaping in the neutral buoyancy pool. So she also spent a lot of time in this kind of training and well prepared for this, the first female EVA of China.
Yeah.
So I think also, I believe that sooner or later in the future, also like other countries, we can also have the all-female EVA in the future. So this time is a good start for China's astronauts. And also, Mr. Ye Guangfu has also mentioned his training in Europe, and I think this is also a very good preparation for the future visit of the foreign astronauts. Also, you know that the Europe astronauts were also trained in China in Qingdao in the rescue training on the sea. So there are 2 European astronauts. It is very amazing that I read from the media that both of them can speak Chinese now.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think these are very, very good preparations for the future international cooperation. Although we've already have 9 experiments from 17 countries on board the station, sooner or later these experiments will be brought, the equipment for these experiments will be brought from the ground to the station by the Tianzhou cargo ships. But also we hope that we can see the visit of the foreigners after the construction of the station.
Right. Now, you talked about international cooperation and you talked about the crew as well. This will be the longest crewed mission so far, up from 3 months in the previous mission, Shenzhou-13, now to 6 months. So the astronauts talked about their challenges. Do you think the difficulties will kind of double this time?
Exactly. You see that although 3 months or 6 months are all belongs to the long-term duration, but still it's quite different, because you know that the loss of bones and the weakening of the muscles is a continuous procedure. So with its longer, it becomes more dangerous. So it has already been proved that our measures is effective for the Shenzhou-12 crew, but that doesn't mean that it's 100% ensure that it's effective for the Shenzhou-13 crew. You know that in the future, every expedition team will stay in the station for 6 months. So this time can be a very important preparation for the future operation of the station, 6 months. And also, we have all kinds of measures. But you see, it is also very interesting. You know that Yaping is a girl, and she likes sweet food. During the Shenzhou-10 mission in 2013, the ground staff prepared many sweet food for her, but this time I believe also there are some. And also she has already mentioned that they will enjoy the Lunar New Year inside the station, and she will give the greetings during the New Year Eve. I think that will be also a very amazing moment for all of us.
Yeah, that's something we can look forward to.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about the crew's life in space. First, I mean, you know, you just talked about it, the food, the water must be specially prepared. What is the process that goes behind all that?
Well, you know, that's so the procedure is there is no essential difference from the Shenzhou-12 mission. You see, that's the environmental control and the life support is the most critical one for them, especially the atmosphere control inside the station. So when they come into the station, when they open the 5 hatches between them and to go inside the station, they first will switch the status of the life support system to produce oxygen from the water and control the temperature and the humidity of the station. And then they will unpack all the packages from the Tianzhou-3 cargo ship, because all their food, water, and other resupplies will get from this. And also, it is very interesting. You know that this time, because we have girls in our station, we will have the makeups. For our girls, so it's quite different from the mission before. And also because you know that the astronauts, their hair will grow longer inside for this 6 months, so they have to act as the hairdressers for each other. So I believe that the other colleagues of Yaping will make hair for her.
That. Yes,
that's really very interesting for her. And also, you see, they will be very, very, very busy, because although they have many tasks to maintain the status of the station, and also they have to many physical exercise at least 2 hours every day. But they will arrange their schedule based on the Beijing time. So that is to reduce the burden of the ground staff. You see that they will get up early every morning according to Beijing time and sleep at Beijing time at night. So during this process, I believe that the EVA, the actual vehicular activity, will also performed during the daytime. So that will be very more comfortable for us on the ground. And also this time, you see that the operations of the robotic arm will be very, very complex, very, very challenging, because it will move a 13-ton level spacecraft, the Tianzhou-2, from one port to another. So this is very complex, and with the help of the ground crew, and they will monitor the whole movement of this procedure.
All right, Professor Yang, thank you so much for those insights. Always a pleasure speaking with you. Now let's bring in our reporter Ning Hong at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. Ning Hong, what were the main takeaways from that press conference that you were attending? Ning Hong, can you hear me?
Well, the press briefing had just completed, and three Taconauts have revealed themselves to the public, and including Zhai Zhigang, who is also the commander of the crew, and Guangfu and Wang Yaping. So this team is really an elite team, because Zhai Zhigang is a veteran Chinese taikonaut. He's also the first Chinese taikonaut who conducted a spacewalk back in 2008. And also Wang Yaping, he's the second female taikonaut that went to space. And also this time, she will conduct lectures again in space for students in China. And Guangfu belongs to the second tier of Chinese taikonauts. And he spent the last 11 years training for this first chance to go to space. That's a lot of effort and training. So I wish that they have a great journey in the near future. And one of the things that I remember is that said by Zhai Zhigang. He said that the most difficult thing in his training in the past decade is not learning new technology or studying, but the most difficult thing is to do a simple thing repeatedly for 10 times and 100 times to make it perfect. I think that's the spirit of Chinese taikonauts.
And Ning Hong, it's just 2 days to go before the launch on October 16. What preparations are needed now?
Well, right now, I mean, the rocket and also the Shenzhou-13 spaceship is now in the launch pad, waiting for taikonauts to board. And before that, taikonauts will stay here. This is Wentiange in Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center, and they will spend their time here preparing for the launch. And also in the meantime, this is the long mission, lasting for 180 days. That's a half a year. So it will be a great challenge, physically and also mentally, to these taikonauts. So I think their preparation, the preparation started back 2 years ago, and now they're looking to start this mission very soon. And in the future, in the coming 6 months, they will spend their time living and working in space station. It consists of Tianhe core module and 2 cargo ships, 2 Tianzhou cargo ships, and also 1 Shenzhou-13 manned spaceship. And during that time, they will conduct a series of experiments and tests focusing on testing the reliability and also the equipment inside the space station. And in the meantime, they will also conduct scientific experiments and also monitoring the health conditions of themselves. So there's a heavy work ahead, but like I said, I wish they would accomplish this mission successfully. Yeah, that would be all. Thank you.
All right, Ning Hong, thank you for that update. Now, international cooperation will play an important role in future research on China's International Space Station. Chinese space officials say developing countries will especially be welcome. Cheng Yibing looks at what the future has in store.
China successfully launched its Shenzhou-13 manned spacecraft by sending 3 astronauts into low Earth orbit and then into the core module of the space station. it's a huge step forward for the country in its effort to build its very own space station by 2022. One question to ask is, will it replace the existing International Space Station known as the ISS? Well, the latter has been in orbit for over 20 years. It's a multinational project that has contributed greatly to our scientific understanding of space. But it may have to retire after 2024. If true, China's space station could be the only one in orbit for a sustained period of time. So it's very likely to play an increasing central role in future science-related research. Another question is, will it be like the ISS and receive international astronauts? Well, back in May 2018, China, together with the United Nations Agency for Outer Space Affairs, invited all UN members to conduct scientific experiments on the new space station, especially developing countries. So, in this sense, the new space station will be shared by many more countries, acting as an outpost. Some say this is because China was once excluded from the ISS, so it fully understands the needs and desires of other countries. So within the year, 42 proposals were put forward by 27 countries for the first group of tests. 9 were chosen and they are being prepared once the station is put into use around 2022. Training exchanges between astronauts from the European Space Agency and China National Space Administration have already begun. Russia plans to cooperate with China in this field and on lunar bases as well. When faced with a vast and mysterious universe and huge expenses and risks that come with exploring space, no one can work alone. Coming next, 2 of the remaining 8 assembly missions for China's space station will carry the lab modules to the space station. And there will also be 3 more robotic resupply flights, not to mention 3 more crewed missions during the outpost phase of construction. So there's a lot to look forward to in terms of performance and other contributions to the joint exploration of space by all human beings. Zhai Zhigang, CGTN, Beijing.
China's announced its cooperation in space with other countries, including Russia. Cosmonaut Andrei Borisenko shared several factors he says are crucial to China's progress.
The Chinese space industry is fast-paced based on my observations. It's been making firm steps and setting ambitious goals. In my mind, it has a bright future. Speaking about the opportunities for the space industry's development in general, it is stipulated by a few factors. The first one is the level of scientific and technical development and the level of expertise. I mean those people who work in the industry, engineers, workers, draftsmen. Our Chinese colleagues have got all this. The second factor is funding opportunities. The Chinese have got them. As far as I know, they invest much in each and every step and apply huge resources to this industry. The third factor is political willpower. There's no doubt the Chinese have got it. They set their goals in terms of space exploration. China is obviously not going to stray from them. I am sure that we will see China gain the lead in the next few years or in the next decade. It's highly likely that the Chinese will outrun other world powers.
One of the Shenzhou-13 astronauts has shared his experiences at training with the European Space Agency. Ye Guangfu spent 15 days in Italy in 2016 for a course on working and living in extreme environments. It included exploration, mapping, and experiments in isolated caves.
Hello, everybody. I am Ye Guangfu. I am a technonaut of China. Today's mission is to taking a position from campsite to here, advanced campsite. And today we have passed by many points, and some place is very dangerous. You must use your lunge. 1, 2, just like space mission EVA. 1, 2, and 1, 2, step by step. So it's not easier to go there. So when we get there, we must do some science and survey engineering and some mission. Of course, we are all tired So it's time to get to sleep. So good night.
Now let's speak to Professor Yang again from the China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation. Professor Yang, now you earlier talked about international collaboration. The China National Space Administration, as we heard from the earlier press conference this afternoon, has expressed its desire for international cooperation, and non-Chinese astronauts are being trained for future space missions. So tell us more about what we can expect in the future.
Actually speaking, the international cooperation just starts from the beginning of China Manned Space Program. You see that, as mentioned by the officials of the China Manned Space Agency, we start our space program, manned space program, and at the beginning we cooperate with Russia. Our astronauts were trained in Russia, and during the the early flight missions, because you know that at that moment our Tianlian data relay satellite has not come into use, so we need the support from Europe. We use their ground stations to increase our coverage of our flight missions. So we already get help from other countries, and especially in 2011 during the Shenzhou-13 mission, we have a joint mission with experiments with Germany called Singbox. We have about 17 experiments on board the Shenzhou-8 about biology. So in the future, as we've already discussed, there are already coordination between the UNOSA, our United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, and the China Manned Space Agency. They jointly released the calling for the call for experiments, and there are many appliers, and already they chose 9 experiments from 17 countries to onboard the China space station. So I believe that the Shenzhou-13 crew, all the successors, will do a lot of these kind of experiments on board the station, and I hope that the experts can publish their articles in professional journals about their scientific research. So this is the first level, and the second level, as already introduced by Mr. Ye Guangfu. So you can see that he can speak English well, and also that he has very funny joke with his with his colleagues, and also. As I've already mentioned, Miss Cristoforetti and also other astronauts, European astronauts has already been trained in China, and both Chinese astronauts and the European astronauts can speak Chinese and can speak English. Yes. So this is a very good preparation for the future operation. Of course, although maybe they will only be the mission specialists or the payload experts for the future Shenzhou crew, but you know that they will also be trained for the piloting the Shenzhou spaceship. So I believe that in future, some of the foreign astronauts will be qualified to piloting the Shenzhou spaceship. Moreover, also technically speaking, it is possible for the spacecraft from the other countries to visit China space station, either a cruise spaceship or a cargo spaceship. You see that the China adopted the androgynous peripheral assembly system, or the APAS. So it follows an international standard. So this means that the other countries only need a very slight change for their docking systems. For instance, the docking and rendezvous radar, the optical sensors, they only need to change these kind of things, and also the definition between the pins on the docking mechanism to adapt with the China space station. So only a small amount of work need to be done for this kind of modification, and then they can launch their spaceship to our China space station. I noticed that the Russia have already considered to launch their Soyuz spaceship from French Guiana. You see that because the terrain of the Russia is too close to the north, and it is impossible for them to launch their spacecraft to China space station from their original Baikonur space center or other centers because the latitude limitation. So if they can launch their Soyuz spaceship from the French Guiana, which is very near to the close to the equator, it means that the Progress cargo ship and Soyuz can dock to China space station.
All right, Professor Yang, thank you for those insights. I'm afraid we're just running out of time. Lovely speaking to you. Now, since China's first manned space mission in 2003, the astronauts have all safely returned home. We leave you now with a look at the key moments of China's return missions. On that note, I'm Kasturi Manikam in Beijing. Thanks for watching our special coverage.